Hey guys, welcome to another video of Scent Saga. My name is Deep, and in this video I want to talk about a perfume which can be said as a unicorn. The reason I'm saying this perfume as a unicorn is because this perfume is kind of very hidden. It's very under the radar, but it's awesome. And there's barely any review online about this perfume, and I feel that this perfume needs to be talked about. There are rarely a few perfumes which grabs my attention when it comes to the naming conception, the story around it, and then the entire smell about the perfume. Because most of the time what happens is when a story is created around a perfume, sometimes those are kind of shit. They don't stack up or kind of don't explain the story entirely for that particular perfume. They're just words. But for this particular perfume, the words are actually true. I mean, the way the entire story has been set up for the perfume, I think that it's perfectly lined up. The perfume that I'm talking about is Murasaki Bookshop. This is a perfume that comes from the House of Kanzan. This is how the perfume bottle looks. Typical House of Kanzan styling. There is nothing going gaga over it. This is a very minimal styled bottle. This is how the perfume usually sits in the box. And they have a very minimal design philosophy when it comes to the House of Kanzan. And in this video, I will tell you why I feel that this is a hidden gem, in my opinion. Why I feel this is the perfect time to make a video about this particular perfume, and coming from a niche Indian house, in my opinion, like this perfume is unlike anything that I have smelled so far in my entire perfume journey. How this has got me intrigued, whether you should go for this perfume, whether you should skip it, and who this is for, who should not use this perfume. Every single thing there is to talk about this perfume, I'm gonna talk in this particular video. So in case you're interested to hear the story about Murasaki Bookshop coming from the House of Kanzan, stay tuned. Before I get started with the video, I do need to tell you that this is not a sponsored video or a paid promotion. I personally bought it after having awesome experience with two perfumes from the House of Kanzan. One was Cafe Neroli, my ultimate favorite fragrance for the Gourmand situations, and Hazy Reflection, a very inoffensive perfume that is awesome as a daily driver in my opinion. Now, this is something different. But before I go and talk about the perfume, let me show you the bottle presentation, the atomizer, the pricing, the concentration, the blend quality, right? So this is the bottle. Typical House of Kanzan bottle, nothing new. They add this card along with the perfume in the box, which talks about the story or the journey of the perfume. Let me read it out. If in case you don't want to hear it, you can just, skip ahead. So there is a narrow lane in the downtown of Hokkaido, a place in Japan maybe, where most of the people never wander. At the very end, behind an old plum colored door, sits Murasaki Bookshop, where basically they talk about how the bookshop is. It's basically talking about an old library kind of a setup where, the stories are kind of rustic, old, everything. I mean, when I initially got it, I read the story. I mean, I'll just put it over here. I don't want to bore you. If in case you want to pause this and read it, go ahead, read it. But let me share the notes with you, okay? So the notes over here are pretty interesting. After throwing the notes at your face, I'm going to say how this perfume smells, but let me just talk about the bottle. I just forgot about it. So this is how the bottle looks. This is a 50 ml bottle, and the pricing for this you might feel is expensive, which is $11.40 for a 50 ml. So technically it's going to be 2,200 to 2,300 for a 100 ml kind of a scenario. And that, according to me, a lot of people will say, oh my God, it's so expensive. But when it's a niche Indian house trying to create not inspired or cloned fragrances, trying to come up in their own rendition, feels very well blended and very minimal amount of alcoholic blast, smells exquisitely good, comes at a EDP concentration. I think that the perfume is well priced in my opinion, but it's not for everybody because a lot of people are looking for budget alternative. At 1140 rupees, I feel the pricing on this one is very justified. Let me share my experience, then you be the judge, okay? You figure it out. I'll leave it up to you. So overall, 50 ml EDP, 1140, but in their website I saw that they are running some discounts or something where the effective price will come down to 1135 with some samples and everything. You go ahead and check that out because that keeps on changing, so I don't want to include in the video. And at the same time, they only sell through their website, which is House of Kanzan. Go ahead, check them out. You will not be able to find it in Myntra and Amazon as of now. I don't know why. Maybe in the future they will add it, but as of now they're just selling through their own website. That's there. Now let me talk about the notes, okay? The top notes are black tea, cardamom, maple sap. The heart note is Japanese Hinoko wood, tiramisu, smoked vanilla, and the base note is toasted almond, charred cedar. These are the notes. Now let me tell you what I personally felt about the perfume and what it overall feels to me. The black tea, the cardamom, and the maple syrup kind of feels like a gourmandish, overly sweet perfume with some smoked undertone. That is not the case. The moment you smell the perfume, it kind of opens up with the smoky note of the tea, that is for sure. The spiciness of the cardamom is done very neatly over here. And maple sap kind of is a resinous kind of a smell. I would say if you have ever smelled oud, right? This is not oud, but it's kind of a resinous smell, but in a very pleasant way, in my opinion, and very neatly done. This is one of those things that got my attention the moment I smelled it, okay? The second thing, in the mid note, they say Japanese hinoki wood. I get a woody undertone over here. I have never smelled anything which is Japanese hinoko wood, so I won't tell you how it differs from normal woody note, but I get a woody undertone over here. That note of tiramisu in the mid note adds kind of that hint of cacao, coffee-like smell with a little nuanced undertone in the mid note, along with smoked vanilla. Smoked vanilla is kind of that dark smoky vanilla with less of sweetness and more of smokiness. Absolutely bang on, spot on over here. At the base, it has got toasted almond, which kind of adds a nutty undertone into the mix, and charred cedar. Again, charred cedar is basically a smoky cedar wood like smell. So a lot of smoky character, resinous character has been added into the mix to make the perfume feel gourmandish but not overly sweet. In a pictorial representation, it would be like if you open a box, spice box, but that spice box has been burned, okay? So it's a charred spice box, and you open it, you get a burned feeling of the woody box. Inside that box, there is cardamom and there is vanilla inside it, along with some spices and a little bit of coffee. So everything is kind of charred in that place. So you're getting that smoky undertone, but at the same time, you're getting the other notes as well, which is the vanilla, which is a little bit of coffee. You get the cardamom. So entire thing, if you combine, that is how this perfume smells like. And trust me when I say this, this is one of those perfumes that, you know, caught my attention the moment I sprayed it. I bought the perfume because of the story that was written in the website and the notes. And after purchasing it, this was kind of a blind buy for me. But after purchasing it, this is now one of my favorite niche blends from an Indian house that I absolutely loved. I am so vocal about it because that is how awesome I felt about the perfume. So don't get me wrong over here. You might feel that I am kind of bragging a lot about this perfume, which is not the case. It's just that I love the perfume. Second thing that I loved about the perfume is how this perfume, even after adding so many burnt, woody, resinous, smoky smell, does not feel off-putting. It will remind you of an old bookshop for sure. Imagine you're sitting in a library with old books, rustic environment, a dimly lit library with an incense, maybe a vanillic incense burning at the farther corner of the room. That is how this perfume feels like. And for a lot of time, I was an avid book reader. I used to read a lot of books, and that smell of old books kind of hits a nostalgia for me. This particular perfume added that experience, or that nostalgic experience. I mean, it took me back to those places. And if you're a book lover, I feel that this is something that you will absolutely love. Okay. Now coming to the projection and performance of this perfume, this is a perfume which would not be categorized as a beast mode projecting perfume. This is a very moderate, I would say soft to moderately projecting perfume, a very inoffensive and subtle perfume, but does makes its presence felt. It's not like something that will not go undetected. People will detect the smell, but at the same time, they will not be offended by it. So the overall projection that I have got from this perfume is around 40 to 50 minutes, but in a very soft and subtle way, not an overpowering way. The entire overall longevity that I have got with this perfume has been around 6 to 7 hours when applied on my clothes, because I test all the perfumes on my clothes. I don't, spray them on my skin. And I feel the same thing has happened with House of Kanzan, where after maceration, the performance improved drastically. This has been sitting on my desk for almost a month now, and I feel that after maybe say around 2 to 3 months more, the performance on this one is going to increase. That is what I personally feel. Maybe in the future, maybe say after say 4 or 5 months, if that ever happens, I'm going to talk about it again. But for now, this is what the projection and overall longevity I'm getting for this perfume, and I have no complaints with it. Which are the occasions where this perfume feels perfect? Which are the occasions where this perfume might not feel perfect? Let me talk about those. In case you are into Gourmand fragrances, but you don't like overly sweet fragrances, this perfume is for you. In case you want something which is not beast mode, is more on the moderate side of things, doesn't choke people out, but at the same time want that dark resinous feeling, but not in a very oud way or dark boozy way, this perfume is for you. In case you're looking for something that smells unique, not something everybody else is wearing around you, like a lot of clones are available for a lot of perfumes, and you want something which smells distinct and different, this one is for you. Who should skip this perfume? If in case you are into sweet bubblegummy fragrances, this is not for you. If in case you want something which is marine, citrusy, or has got beast mode projection, a lot of longevity, anybody coming in close proximity will be like a nuclear projection from a perfume, this is not for you. And in case you feel 1140 or 1150 rupees perfume for a 50 ml feels expensive, then this perfume is not for you. Now, which occasions are awesome for this? And that is where I want to tell you why I have created this perfume review now. I feel that the monsoons and the winters are the best time for this particular perfume, because the gloomy weather for the monsoon and the cold weathers for the winters are the perfect occasion where this perfume will shine through. Because weather kind of determines which kind of perfumes. Similar to the clothes that you wear, I feel weather is also one of the key determining factors for usage of perfume, and I feel that during this particular monsoon and the winters, this is where this perfume will shine through. Okay, that is the reason I'm making this video now. But the places where I think this will not work is gym, because I feel that if you're going to the gym, the sweat when mixed with these kind of DNAs creates a very off-putting smell. That's it. Apart from that, school, college, office, dates, special occasions, anywhere you can wear this without any complaints, in my personal opinion. That is what I feel about this particular perfume. And if there is anything that I want to say to the House of Kanzan is, you're doing a really good job. And in terms of the pricing, I feel that 1140, 1150 rupees is kind of a bit, on the expensive side for a lot of people. If in case you are able to reduce the pricing to say 999 by any chance, for that matter, like you previously did, I know it's hard to source good quality materials, but if in case you can do that, I feel that was the sweetest pricing point in my opinion for the perfumes. But I feel that at 1150 also, this is a really good find, at least for me. Now, that is what I personally feel about Murasaki Bookshop from the House of Kanzan. If in case you have any queries or concerns about this particular perfume or any perfume for that matter, use the comment section or connect with me via Instagram, which is Scent Saga Online, and I will try my best to answer them as soon as possible. So with that, this is Deep signing off. I'll see you on the next one very soon. Bye-bye.